As you know, the main hero receives all the praise and recognition during the adventures to defeat the big baddie, and more often than not, the sidekicks or partners if you will, are often ignored by the NPCs, or even forgotten by people in reality. This is quite a shame because they have contributed just as much as Mario did when defeating Bowser. As a matter of fact, Mario will still be stuck in chapter 1 had he not encountered Cooper and Bombette, since Mario is not known for being a demolition man who can break down walls. That is precisely why in this video I had decided to showcase all of Paper Mario 64's unsung heroes. These guys always had some interesting movesets, so I will be rating all of them based entirely on how flashy or exciting they look. So without further ado, let's unleash their untapped potential. Starting with the biggest brainiac of the group and Mario's biggest fan, Goombario. Not only does he exercise his mind on a daily basis, but has been practicing his iconic headbonk technique, and it clearly shows. Since it's just a normal double headbonk, it's not too flashy but still impressive he's able to do in the first place with such precision. Still, I rate his headbonk a 30 out of 100. Next is his Hatto ability. This is just him flexing his knowledge on literally every single enemy in the game and implies that he has memorized everything without the use of any reading materials. Now that is impressive. But still, in terms of flashy, it's literally just him describing someone, so I rate his Hatto ability a 5 out of 100. Next is his charge ability. Goombario channels his inner warrior spirit and is able to raise his attack power by 2 to unleash devastating attack power upon his foes. So not only is he incredibly knowledgeable, but is also physically capable of handling tough enemies alone. He's quite the formidable one. I like how his entire body is radiating with rainbow energy, so I will rate his charge ability a 50 out of 100. Next is his multi-bonk attack. This is literally just headbonk, but he is able to stack them consecutively if you perfectly time the A button. But since it's just a normal headbonk, it's not quite flashy, so I will rate his multi-bonk a 40 out of 100. Moving on to the blue shell wonder, Cooper. Utilizing his impressively sturdy shell to his advantage, all of his moves involves using it, which makes sense. The first move is the shell toss. It's a simple attack that involves bashing into a grounded enemy with full force. Imagine getting rammed by a shell of that size. Ouch. I rate the shell toss attack a 55 out of 100. Next is the power shell. This is basically the same as shell toss, but he's able to defeat all enemies in a row. Once again, it looks exactly the same, so I will rate it the same 55 out of 100. Next is the dizzy shell. He is able to make all enemies on the ground dizzy by forming a mini tornado. Now this is really cool honestly. Imagine being able to spin at a speed so fast, a literal tornado forms. How is he not vomiting by now? I know for a fact that I will be extremely nauseous. I rate the dizzy shell at 80 out of 100. Next is the fire shell. Cooper's able to not only form tornadoes but can spin with such speed and gusto that his entire body's on fire and can launch himself at all enemies and set them on fire too. He's gonna need a lot of aloe vera for those burns and for the victims too. Overall, Cooper's attacks are much more flashy and impressive looking compared to Goombario's, so I rate the fire shell a 90 out of 100. Next is the hot-headed bomb with a splash of feminine touch, Bombette. Her entire arsenal involves using a specialty attack, explosions, well except for her first move which involves bashing into her enemy called Body Slam. All she does is awkwardly slam into an enemy without walking somehow, it looks kinda funny. I rate the Body Slam attack a 20 out of 100. Next is the bomb attack. She was able to blow up one singular enemy's face and survive afterwards somehow, despite exploding. I like the little confetti that appears though. I rate the bomb attack a 70 out of 100. Next is the power bomb. This is the same except she attacks all enemies on the ground and the explosion is even bigger and has a ring this time, which is kinda cool. I rate it an 80 out of 100. Next is the Mega Bomb, the bomb to end all bombs. She was able to attack all enemies in the entire room and go out with a massive bang with tons of confetti flying around. It's so violent that the entire screen shakes with such force, but feels satisfying to pull off. I rate the Mega Bomb at 85 out of 100. Next is the clumsy flying postman who is responsible for losing countless letters across the Mushroom Kingdom, Parakarry. This winged expert takes to the skies and will try to get the job done. His first move, Skydive, just involves kicking an enemy from above, a very simple and swift move that is not quite that flashy looking, so I rate it 45 out of 100. Next is a shell shot. It involves aiming at an enemy's Yoshi's Island style and he rams his entire shell body into an enemy with full force. It's impressive he's able to see where they're located without physically seeing them. I rate the shell shot a 65 out of 100. Next is the airlift. Parakarry uses a special overall ability where he carries Mario but instead carries enemies off of the battlefield where they're gone forever. Where did they end up exactly? We may never know for sure. It's just him lifting someone off, so I rate it at 20 out of 100. Next is the air raid. Parakarry shifts all across the field in a wild frenzy, crashing left and right and whatnot, with wild energy leaving behind trails of smoke due to accelerating at such high speeds. He is able to hit every single enemy in the room, and it's pretty useful overall. I rate the air raid at 80 out of 100. Next is the not so dainty Queen of Terror, Lady Bo. Her ghastly Royal Highness utilizes her hands, fan, and ghostly charm to do the talking for her, and it's pretty effective. Her Smack ability allows her to hit an enemy up to 6 times, but is useless against enemies with such high defense. I always found this attack to be so satisfying seeing this spin around and whatnot, due to being slapped silly. But in terms of flash, I will rate it at 65 out of 100. Next is Out of Sight. Bo is able to do what she was born to do as a ghost, turn invisible and also make others she touches invisible too. This is quite a useful move to avoid a powerful attack or a barrage. In terms of flashiness, I think it's a little lacking in the pizzazz department, so I rate it at 35 out of 100. Next is Spook. Bo uses yet another trait ghosts possess, and that is to scare the living daylights out of people. That is their favorite pastime after all, so who can blame her really? It performs successfully. Bo is able to scare away all the enemies on screen if they are terrified. I like the way the screen shakes due to the sheer terror of Bo, and find it kinda amusing. I rate it at 55 out of 100. Next is Fan Smack. Bo is nice enough to cool off her opponents using her favorite fan, but the catch is, she's doing much more than just simply cooling them off. She's able to do 2 damage per hit with her fan, and creates a mini tornado as they spin. How fast are they spinning exactly to generate one in the first place? The amount of flair she adds to each smack is a joy to witness, and for that reason, I rate a Fan Smack at 80 out of 100. Next is the illuminating sentient bundle energy known as Watt. She focuses primarily on electrical moves, which makes sense. The first one is called Electro Dash. It's a neat one, as it darkens the entire room as she generates a ton of electricity to damage the enemy. It is such a cool effect, and I always like seeing it honestly. With that being said, I rate Watt's Electro Dash at 79 out of 100. Next is Power Shock. Watt is able to paralyze the enemy using a devastating amount of electrical force to subdue them. It is not exciting as Electro Dash, but still darkens the room a bit, so it counts for something. But I rate it at 50 out of 100. Next is Turbocharge. Watt is able to raise Mario's attack power by 1 for a short time, and I like how it lending her energy to Mario by circulating around with super fast. It's a cool little effect and showcases their connection as partners. One of my favorite moves honestly, and like how it makes Mario luminescent. I rate Turbocharge at 80 out of 100. Next is Mega Shock. This is basically a power shock, but she was able to paralyze all the enemies in the room. This is like a combination of Electro Dash and Power Shock, which is nice. I like the little lightning bolt illustrations on screen. That's a nice touch too. I rate Mega Shock at 81 out of 100. Next is the overly cautious mother who genuinely cares about this Yoshi kid, Sushi. I'm not sure how she can survive outside of water, but that's pretty impressive nonetheless. Her attack Belly Flop is exactly what it sounds like, body slamming enemies using a massive fishy stomach. I wonder how painful it will be to get smacked by a fish like that. I rate it at 30 out of 100. Next is Squirt. Sushi shoots a sharp stream of water from her mouth to the enemy, which sounds a bit gross. I imagine it would feel like a paint gun shot, but water instead of paintballs. Spinning water is not what I will call flashy, so I rate it at 20 out of 100. Next is Water Block. Sushi is able to create a watery block to temporarily protect Mario by encasing him in spit in the shape of a Super Mario World block. As cool as it sounds unsanitary, but at least it looks intriguing. I rate it at 60 out of 100. Next is Tidal Wave. This is by far the most interesting move she has. She is able to create a tsunami and cover the entire screen with a wave of water, creating this nice ripple effect which I love. In terms of flash, I gotta give her an 80 out of 100. Next is the man with no plan, otherwise known as Spike or Lackluster. Since he is a Lakitu, his attacks primarily focus on throwing spinies. His spiny flip attack involves throwing a spiny egg at an enemy Yoshi's Island style, and I guarantee that's gonna leave a nasty bruise. I rate it at 40 out of 100. Next is Spiny Surge. He is able to throw a big barrage of spiny eggs at once, creating a surge of eggs, which is kinda cool. I like how they bounce on the field like that honestly. I rate it at 50 out of 100. Next is Cloud9. He is nice enough to create a separate cloud from Mario for protection. Sharing is caring after all. I think it's a little plain for what it actually does, so I rate it at 30 out of 100. Next is Hurricane. He is able to blow away all the enemies on screen by generating this massive storm by huffing and puffing. I like the effect created on screen like that. It gives off this cartoonish vibe that Paper Mario is able to capture so well. I rate it a 81 out of 100. Well, that's it for all the partners' movesets in their Flash. Let's hope they did all receive the praise and recognition they deserve for contributing to the battle as much as Mario does. With all that being said, thank you for watching. Which partner do you like the most? and please like and subscribe for more videos like these if you want to.